Welcome back to Flights of Fantasy. With the advent of computer-generated imaging, George Lucas finally has the technology to create Star Wars to his original vision. The results are the Star Wars Trilogy Special Edition. The fourth episode, Star Wars: A New Hope, is being released to theaters at the end of January. To keep the hysteria going on, the license machine is moving full speed ahead with lots of Star Wars goodies. Dark Horse Comics has a full line of comic books. Here's the first look at Shadows of the Empire. Topps has the outstanding 3D trading cards. Kenner is adding more variations to the action figures, and Nintendo's Shadows of the Empire video game for the N64 is causing quite a ruckus. Flights of Fantasy now takes you inside ILM, where you can see how George Lucas is changing the face of history.
For an entire generation, the only way people have been able to experience the epic trilogy of Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, has been on the television screen. Until now.
No one to stop us this time.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Creator George Lucas and 20th Century Fox are re-releasing all three films as the Star Wars Trilogy Special Edition, using today's film and sound technologies that give a whole new generation of filmgoers the opportunity to feel the power of the Force once again on the big screen.
That boy is our last hope.
No, there is another.
Star Wars was designed to be a theatrical experience. It was designed to be on the big screen. Sound is extremely important, and it's very important to the overall enjoyment of the film that it be big.
You're coming in too fast!
There was just something about the aspect of the Millennium Falcon going into hyperspace, the idea of Darth, Luke's quest, his need for this journey, that still somehow taps into the whole collective unconsciousness of everyone.
I want to come with you to Alderaan. There's nothing for me here now. I want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father.
For Lucas, Star Wars 20th Anniversary was a chance to improve technically on the original, which was limited by a relatively small $10 million budget and by special effects that were only prototype by today's standards.
There were various things, especially in the original film, that I wasn't satisfied with. Special effects shots that never really were finished, scenes that I wanted to include that couldn't have been included for some reason, mostly money and time.
The essence of the storytelling had to be sacrificed for the limits of technology. George had very specific shots that he wanted to be able to achieve, but it was extremely difficult to do that with models on wires. So although for us in 1977, when we first saw it, it was still powerful, it was still big, he never got visually the dynamic shots that he actually wanted to get. So we've redone those.
Lucas's Industrial Light and Magic, the company that began with Star Wars and has become the leader in special effects in the film industry today, eventually created over 100 computer-enhanced shots for the new trilogy.
One of the things we were concerned with right from the beginning was we certainly didn't want it to suddenly look like a brand new, different-looking shot every time we dropped in one of the redos or improved or new shot. So we began early on to make sure that it was possible for us to take a shot, scan it digitally, work on it, do the things to what we want to do, film it back out, and then cut it back in and have it not seem like a different animal.
See? I call it luck. In my experience, there's no such thing as luck.
It's like building onto a house, and the new wing was flawless, but the rest of the house then had to be elevated to that level.
The process required 3 years and included a complete restoration of the film's negative.
The most obvious thing that's happened is we've gone back to the original negative, cleaned it up considerably, and improved the quality of the film, because it was deteriorating. I think this one had deteriorated a lot more than anybody expected in 20 years.
Taking a look at the breakdown of the number of shots and dupes, opticals, and effects of over 800, it's a massive undertaking.
You know, you can actually see them. They come straight over camera, they go underneath camera, we can pan with them, you can see the pilots inside of them, you can see their heads moving. That was a real challenge, but really a great deal of fun to do.
Perhaps the most exciting surprises for Star Wars buffs will be the addition or expansion of scenes Lucas always wanted in the originals. For example, Jabba the Hutt was supposed to appear in the original Star Wars, but technical limitations of the time made Lucas's vision of the giant slug-like creature we know from Return of the Jedi impossible. However, a visual stand-in was photographed in a scene with Harrison Ford, and that was ultimately cut out of the film. ILM's goal was to include the scene in a new version using a computer-generated Jabba.
This project here was about 5 shots. It took about a year to do. The ultimate goal is to make it look like Jabba was on the set talking to Harrison Ford, and we just photographed it. This is the original plate that George shot. So the plan was for us to remove this actor and replace him with Jabba. He had to be physically in that space where this actor was, doing all the same things in a similar kind of style. The actual motion of Jabba never really existed before. The mass of the character would allow us to make him move like a sea lion, right? So that's essentially what I did. I made him move like a sea lion.
The film's soundtracks also get the full treatment today's audiences have come to expect.
Hold your fire. There's no life forms.
We've gone back to some of the original tracks and gotten the cleanest copy, and then now we're remastering it digitally. So this will be the first time the film has been released in digital sound.
This is all your fault.
We didn't want to throw out the sound in the film and do it over. There were so many classic things in it. So many things that we could do better. And they also represent what the film is and how it's known to people. So that we did our best to bring them to the audience as clearly and as high fidelity as possible now. We've redesigned the sound field in the film to bring more of the sound off to go around the audience. So a spaceship can fly from behind you and move all the way to another corner, this sort of thing.
The original mix was so complex, so good, but there was no technology to actually hear it. And one of the things that George has spent an enormous amount of money trying to develop is a THX system in which allows theaters to present films in the way in which filmmakers actually make them.
Beyond all the technical improvements, it is still the story of Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Han Solo, Darth Vader, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Chewbacca, C-3PO, and R2-D2 as good battles evil in the universe.
This will be a day long remembered.
But now, not only those who have grown up with the cinematic legends, but the generations to come will be able to feel and see the power of the Force in a whole new light.
It's the anticipation, it's the anxiety of splitting away from home, it's the idea of the adventures that lie ahead of you, it's the ability to try and take a part of the world and own it. It's all about the adventure of life.
I'm not afraid.
You will be.
For me, I got to remake the movie and get it be finished the way I want, so I'm perfectly happy. But it would be fun to be able to share that intangible part of the experience of seeing it in a large theater with hopefully millions of people.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.
The Force will be with you, always.